This was an exciting moment for Piers and Fyodor and I especially. It was our first flight, and we were grinning as we were walking out to the Astrovan, getting ready to go to the pad. Interestingly enough, on that day, there was one cloud in Florida and it was over the pad. We got out to the pad and it was raining, but we got up and went into the orbiter anyway. I was the last one in the vehicle, so I had some time to stand at the 195-foot level and just think about what we were going to do and listen to the orbiter kind of hiss and moan and groan, and it was ready to go to orbit, and so were we. It's kind of funny, you're so excited to go and you get out there and you get into the orbiter and you still have about 2 hours or so where you're laying on your back waiting for the
7,
countdown.
6, 5, start, 2, 1, lift off of the Space Shuttle Atlantis.
After that first initial kick in the seat, I sort of lost my breath for a minute, so I had to sort of take a breath before I could do my MS-2 duties. There was a lot of excitement about our flight about this camera view on the external tank, and we heard once we got to orbit that it looked spectacular, but unfortunately we couldn't view it till we got down, so it was really neat video. But here we are, and we got the kick in the seat, we're going, and we're just really loud noises, roaring, rattling, vibrating. That's all you could feel as you were sitting on the flight deck. I had a mirror, I was trying to look out the overhead window to see where the ground was at, but it was a little distracting just with all the vibration and noise that was going on. We settled down to watch the engines and waited for SRB SEP, and when SRB SEP came, it was quite surprising. It was a really loud flash and a bang.
Wow, 103, 103. 103, 103.
And I couldn't help it. I had to say wow because it was so unexpected. It was just such a loud bang. Yeah, we had a smoother ride after that. It was once the SRBs were gone.
50 nautical miles.
And then we hit the 50 nautical mile point.
Thanks, guys.
And that's the point where Piers and Fyodor and I became flown astronauts. 8.5 minutes we were to orbit, and we got to work turning the orbiter into the rocket into an orbiter so we could start with our mission. Open the payload bay doors, and we were off and running.
Almost immediately, we begin the rendezvous process, which takes about 2 days of burns to approach the space station. I'm up there in the front along with my core rendezvous team, Dave Wolf, who's a former ice cream salesman, Piers Sellers, the snail farmer, and Pam Melroy, who we call Tank Girl. Imagine how that would feel. We're all on the flight deck here. We all have a lot to do. It's very crowded. We're looking out 2 tiny windows as we travel along at 17,500 miles an hour, both vehicles traveling that speed. This picture is about 45 minutes before docking. You can see that we're closing very, very slowly to the space station. It's magnificent as you move in and look out those windows and look at the International Space Station hanging above Earth's atmosphere. It's brilliant. The color is very metallic and looks almost metal. It's so bright in the bright rays of the sun. As we move in, things gradually get more and more exciting until we finally reach the space station, feel the thunk, and we dock. We know we've made it, a very critical event accomplished safely. It takes about an hour to pull these 2 pieces together and to pressurize the area in between and do all the checks, and then it's time to open the hatches. And what a treat it is to rendezvous and then open the hatch to living people. The crew had been up there about 4 months when we opened this hatch, and talking to other crews, they say that the most important thing for them is seeing new faces, and the second most important thing is food and the salsa we brought in a pecan pie. And the third thing is mail.
We didn't have a whole lot of time to meet and greet and say hello because we had to immediately get to work and transfer all of the spacewalk equipment over to the station airlock. And we were busy flying back and forth to take piece parts of the spacesuit, put them together, put the tools on the spacesuits, and there was just a lot of work we had to do at the end of that flight day 3 after we docked. And of course, right away when we got up on the morning of flight day 4, the EVA guys got to work doing their pre-breathe and getting their exercise in for their spacewalk prep, and Peggy and I got to work on the S1 install. It was going to be a long day for us, and we got to work with the unberth. And it does take 2 people to fly that arm. There's a lot going on there. You got to manage the camera views. You have to do the actual flying. There's comm between the ground, comm between the shuttle. Just a whole lot of work. We actually stopped a couple times and put the brakes on so we could fly over to the shuttle windows and look out the pilot's window and see what the 30,000-pound truss looked like at the end of the Canadarm, because the whole time we were only flying from camera views, and it was really beautiful to go look out the window and see what the truss looked like and out there hanging over the edge of the shuttle payload bay. Well, we worked through the procedures. There are some great procedures, and we got up and got the install done. And once the install wasn't done, we attached this truss with some bolts to the S0 truss and reconfigured for the EVA.
Meanwhile, back in the airlock, the EVA team are imprisoned, still on their masks. When the pressure's down, we squirm into our spacesuits, and Pam and Fyodor have put the final touches. You can see being gentle with us there. And there comes the moment